Let me just shut my door a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, so yesterday. Yesterday was a strange day. I think you guys have seen me at my lowest. So, okay, so it happens. A lot of us have been there. A lot of us have done that. I certainly had my fair share of days like that. So it happened, and there's nothing I can do about it today. So, okay, bright side. What I'm doing today is I have my Apex evaluation, which is passed, but I've got 3 more days. So today, Monday and Tuesday, as you can see, I did 1 micro this morning, a tick or a couple of ticks micro this morning. So that's done today. So I'm trading on a sim today. Now, I did think about having a break, but I thought, well, let's continue trading. I don't like to run away sometimes. I like to sort of get back to it. So I thought I'd trade on a sim today. That would take the pressure off, try and focus my head back in a game. So, and then next week, I think today is day 5, Monday, Tuesday, day 6, day 7, and then Wednesday would be the live day. Now, you obviously, a lot of people saw me sort of just go full on tilt yesterday. It happened. Things have just been getting to me a bit lately. Now, it could be a bunch of reasons. I don't know. It just might be one of those things. But if I look back on my trading, I lost my mum on the 28th of December. And on the 29th, 30th and 31st, I had my first 3 red days in a row. And then it just seemed to go downhill from there. So whether it's part of that, I don't know. Maybe it is. I have got stuff on my mind. My 14-year-old daughter's been taking it really hard. And we've been planning for the funeral and sorting stuff out and finances and all that sort of stuff, all the stuff that comes along with it, and planning the funeral, which is a week today, incidentally. So maybe that might have had a bit of an impact. I don't know. Possibly it has. I know emotions when things go on in your life. I know when I've had bad days in the past for whatever reason, it can affect it a little bit. So maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I don't know, but it's happened. Cheers, Jacko. It's happened. It happens. It's life. You know, you just got to get on with it, haven't you? But yeah, maybe my mind's been other places. And so look, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to, you know, luckily for me, I'm one of the type of people that can sort of have a really bad day and come back quite sort of, you know, ready for a challenge. So I've got no pressure today. So I've got it set on a demo today. And I've also got, just to keep getting used to this, I've got 2 demo accounts at the moment, Sim 101 and Sim Account 1. So I thought, well, I might as well continue to use this trade copy, and I'll just use them on the 2 Sims. And at least that it'll continue getting me used to using it. I've paid for it. I might as well use it and get used to it and get some confidence in it. So that's set anyway. So my sim account set here. So I've got my sim set to 101, and that is sim 101 is the lead account. I'm trading 2 contracts as normal, and I'm using that one to copy. So this is just to sort of get me back in the game a bit and try and focus. Now, obviously a lot of you guys saw me sort of go down in a bit yesterday, but I had a message from Daniel. Now, Daniel, I've been talking to for about a year and a half, and he saw that yesterday, and he messaged me. He went, man, you got a lot of work to do. What went on? What happened? So I had a bit of a chat with him. I think I was more disappointed because he said something which changed my trading maybe 7 or 8 months ago. He mentioned something because I was taking second entries, not necessarily with the trend. I was just looking for patterns, whether they were up or down. And he sort of mentioned that to me, and he said, you're not using the context of the market. You're just trading patterns. You need to take those patterns with the trends or with so that seemed to change my trading a bit, and it improved it. So I was just disappointed that he happened to pick the day to watch me trade. I went full on tilt. So I was more gutted for about that, actually. I was just thinking, oh, man. the one person I didn't want to see me sort of fail. But, you know, it's happened, and I've just got to move on. I've just got to get on with it. So the evals pass anyway. The one evals pass. So what I'm going to do is when I start that, I'm going to do the one-off payment. So at least then I've got no pressure to make some money. I can just let it build up naturally. I'm going to worry about. I've still got the $85 to pay every month, so I can take my time a little bit on that and try and get myself back somewhere to where I was. Now I was also chatting with Sam yesterday. I'd happened to have been on to Mac's website, and I had to read again of Vlad's post. So I typed it out on a little digital post-it note for my screen, and Sam messaged me as well. He said, yeah, I've got this for you. I've just been on to Vlad's site, and he'd sort of printed out the same thing. So we're obviously thinking alike. So he is going to do the same as me and try and... A lot of the things that get me into trouble are picking tops and picking bottoms. And that's where I tend to fall foul a little bit from time to time. So maybe that's something for later on down when I'm a little bit more experienced. So basically, it's going to be second entry longs or shorts. Also, if we have a breakout of, let's say we've got a trend up here, a breakout of a trend, second entry longs to make up new highs or new extremes, and failures as well. So I'm just going to try and leave the slightly riskier, more experienced trades alone, like picking tops. You know, you could have shorted that, you could have gone long from that. That's sometimes where I can get in trouble, and I probably lose. I would say maybe, I don't know, 30-40% of my trades are those ones that I lose, I would say. So I'm trying to just leave alone the slightly riskier trades and just concentrate on the bread and butter trades like the second entries and the odd failure and that sort of thing. So we'll see how we get on anyway, but I've got no pressure today. I wanted to get straight back on the horse. I felt a bit down and miserable yesterday, a bit frustrated. So, and obviously you guys didn't see me at my best, so I decided to delete that video. I wanted to just forget it, put it by the side of me, so put it away from me. So, okay, so we got in here. Let's have a look. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Nicholas, afternoon. Sam, how you doing, buddy? You've been here on me. We're having the same problems, aren't we? I think most of us are, to be honest with you. Hey, how you doing? Keith, how you doing, buddy? Jim, morning, everyone. Jacko, hey, guys. Sam, morning. Grandpa Roger, good morning. Sorry for your loss. That's fine, mate. It happens. Life goes on. You just got to get on with it, don't you? You know, I think some things that happen in your life can have an impact on your emotions, even if it's not, sort of obvious. I've been pretty, I'm one of these sort of old-fashioned toughy guys that I tend to try and suck it up a bit for me family, you know what I mean? But it's been on my mind. There's nothing worse about seeing your loved one slowly dying of cancer and watching them die. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but life goes on. You've got to move with it, haven't you? Okay, so I'm going to just let this settle a minute anyway. I'm on a demo, so I'm not in a rush to. So Crypto Mojo, morning all. Brant, I took my 2 losses because I was at a doctor's appointment, got home and tried to catch up charts and rushed it. The ones you took yesterday. Yeah. Okay, mate. I got you. Yeah, sometimes rushing things can have adverse effects. I've done it myself. Been there, done that. Couldn't afford the t-shirt. Leading it was a morning. Hafiz, happy to see you in energy. Is that right? I'll go with that. Sorry, Brant, never easy when you're under pressure. No. 3 great entries right there. You're looking about here, are you? I mean, I'm just having a chat for a minute and just covering yesterday, but I'm on a demo, so it's by the by at the moment, isn't it? So today's quote: trading is a psychological game. Most people think they can play against the market, but the market doesn't care. You're really playing against yourself. Absolutely, it is a battle. It doesn't. It's trading is a soul business, isn't it? You are literally just playing against yourself. It's a mind game, isn't it? You're not trying to beat anybody. You're not. Yeah, it is. It's a mind game, and it's a game that I believe the longer you do it, the better you get at it. That's what we all think, isn't it? That's what we all hope. Ultimately, until you get it, it's hard to say, isn't it? You know, I have had my doubts whether maybe I'm not the right person for the job. I don't know, but I love a challenge and I hate not being able to do something. And if someone says I can't do it, I'll fight. You know, I'll fight on fire. I will to do that. But this is something I enjoy doing. I love the challenge, and I want to make some decent money. And I'm sick of working for other people and lining in someone else's pockets. I want to earn my own money in my own time about something I enjoy, and I enjoy a challenge. So, and I've heard people like Max say you trade to make money, nothing else. I'm not a gambler, although after yesterday you may not agree, but I've never gambled. I've been to horse racing or dog racing with a friend, but it's just never interested me gambling. I just doesn't do anything for me. So it is what it is. I haven't even looked at the chart yet. I had a brief look earlier. Brands 5 is referring to Vlad's notes about what. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I printed out. I copied it out on my. But we sort of did it at the same time. Actually, he had to message me and he sent it, and I took a photo of my screenshot, and I basically typed out the same thing basically. But he does 3 types of trains: second entries with trend. After the first break, second entries, and second entry failures. So obviously, if we break, have a new high, then we make another high, and then sort of come down into a channel and make a failure. You sort of hopefully then at the top of that's where he believes that you can make some good profits there. Obviously, we're at the sort of top of the trend, aren't we? So. Greatest game on earth, Jim. Absolutely agree. Certainly one of the toughest games on earth anyway. So there it is in a nutshell. That's what it is. So I'm on a demo today. I've just got a tide over. I've done 1 micro on that one that's passed, and I've got Monday and Tuesday on that. So Wednesday will be the live account. So I just thought I'd get my head in the game here and watch the market a little bit and have a bit of a chit chat while there's no pressure. So good luck today if you're trading. And let's see if we can find some decent setups. Let's see what's going on. So there's some medium impact news coming up in around about 25 minutes. We had some news at 1:30 UK time, a couple of little spikes up and down, but I think that was it. So let's see how we get on. I looked at your chart last night, Brant, actually, or yesterday afternoon sometime. It's very easy to see why you did what you did. I'd have probably done that myself. It looked like a range to me, but I think it's easy after the fact, isn't it, to look at it and go, well, it hasn't technically confirmed it 3 times, even though that short you took sort of confirmed it in a way, didn't it? But I think that's something for quite experienced traders. I bet a lot of people tripped up on that one. I don't think you're on your own there, mate. It looked like a good downtrend to me. We had a push down, nice bit of sideways, another push down, and where your signal bar was, that was basically at the top of the top of the downtrend, and it looked good to me. I think it's, as I say, it's only probably the really experienced traders who maybe noticed that one, but I can see why you took it. And I can see why you took the next one as well. Lance, I highly recommend the YouTube channel Creeder Performance. That's funny you mentioned that. I mentioned that yesterday. She's actually, I'm proud to say, she's subscribed to my channel. So don't ask me. Perhaps it was accidental. I don't know. But yeah, I do listen to her, and that is basically what you're talking about her there. I've listened to that quite a bit, and she explains it very well, actually, what happens, how the rules all go out the window and we sort of go into panic mode. So, yeah, absolutely. Shanties, we'll go with that. Yeah, but she's very good. She's very good. I think she's from Dublin originally. And I've watched her videos quite a few times. Why is that? Oh, right, okay. What a coincidence. Yeah. I've watched her for a few weeks now. Maybe a month or two, but she subscribed to my channel. I don't know why. Perhaps it was purely accidental, or she thought this is the type of person that I'm talking about. So yeah, but I tend to look around for lots of things like that. Anything I find that helps me, makes me feel a bit better, makes me feel confident, or helps me understand things a little bit better, I tend to attach myself to. So yeah, if anybody hasn't come across her, Creeder, it's worth a look, definitely. Roll Daddy, good morning. Jump the gun on confirmation because I had 3 or 4 perfect. Yeah, look good to me, mate. It did. But after the fact, you can look back and go, okay, so where yours hit, that confirmed it. So you weren't the only one who got caught out of that. I bet a lot of people did. I think I'd have, if I hadn't have gone on pure meltdown before that, I think I'd have done that myself. But it's like we were discussing the other day about trying to, and I do it myself, trying to constantly find bigger trends. And I think until something's clearly hit 3 times and moved away again, I think we just need to just focus on the smaller stuff, don't we? Yeah, until something's sort of it's very easy to do that, isn't it? Because you sort of want to find out where the market's going and get a bit of a picture. And it's easy to do that. I'm guilty of myself adjusting things and that. But until something is clearly going up, I think we just need to stick with the short-term stuff. And I notice if you watch Marco trade, that's all he does. And until something's sort of clearly hit in at least 3 places on the daily chart, if you draw this year long down channel, top of the first one high. That's why we have a new low. Yeah, possibly. I've noticed it. I got the daily up here. That's the first time we've actually closed out of there. So just wondering, with the promise of interest rates starting to come down, maybe that's sort of finally pulling us out of the mud. Whether it'll continue on a bit more and come down and make it, it's hard to say really. But I mean, I think COVID's definitely knackered us, isn't it? There was that much money that the government was chucking around. It certainly was in the UK. I think about probably 60-70% of the population in the UK was sent home on 80% pay. So that sort of money doesn't grow on trees, does it? We have had a breakout of this channel, and there is a big bearish bar, but we certainly seem to have a bullish imbalance, don't we? So let's leave you alone time, actually. I just want to get my confidence up, so if I can just sit here, even for 2 hours, and just wait without any pressure for something, that should start to build my confidence up for next week. So sometimes it's not always about risk. Sometimes it's nice to just give it up for a day and just focus on the market and not have the pressure, and see if you can build your confidence up with some good-looking trades. Yeah, we have had we've sort of touched here, we've touched here, a little bit above here. That probably touched it. So it hasn't closed above it, has it? But you would think that's the sort of thing you short back. But it's a bit, if the bottom was at here, then I'd say it might be worth bringing it down here. But this is not something I'm looking at the moment, although that is a second entry short. But the EMA's facing up, it's at the top. It's not broke out significantly, is it? I don't think. So that is just a sitty and watchy. But it's just choppy at the moment. So yeah, today's for me is just about building some confidence back. getting back on the horse. I don't like to stay off too long. So this push up a little bit of sideways. Let's have a chit chat. Here we go. Matt cuts through the bars on that swing high. So I'm not sure what's up. Cuts through the bars. Here. Yeah, he does do that, doesn't he? I've noticed he does that. We tend to constantly find a way of them fitting, but it seems to be fitting across the top a bit, doesn't it? Fitted here, it's not so bad there. Touched here, touched there, and then we've had the break. 2 pushes up to a new high. I mean, there is a sort of a failure there, isn't it? But it's right in the middle, and it's right in the middle of that bar anyway, isn't it? But it's constantly a learning curve. Every time you mess up and every time. I mean, like those trades you did, Brant, yesterday. Next time you come to looking at a short like that sort of confirms the channel, you'll have that little thing pop up in your head, won't you? Ooh, I've been caught out with that before. And every time we get caught out with these things, we learn from them. And it slowly makes us a better trader. Yeah, if you'd have shorted that one as a bit of a break out of this range, it would have ticked maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of a point, half a point. But yeah, these things, they are useful lessons, really. As frustrating as they are to lose, they are useful lessons because they do put that little thing in your head that, ooh, next time you see something like that, you know, I mean, to me, it looked like a nice trip, looked like a very neat downtrend, to be honest with you. But it just goes to show sometimes, doesn't it? In fact, that first trade I took yesterday, I looked at it, it wasn't a bad trade, and it went about 3 3/4 points. But by the time I could sort of get my order up there, it ended up profit up there, it ended up coming back. But I think that just put me in a bit of a bad place. But you know, it happens. If I thought, you know, I can build up some money in a PA account and make some money out of it, it was going to be a piece of cake from there on. It was sort of never going to happen, really. He would have shorted as it entered the range. Yeah. I mean, it's quite a big bar anyway, isn't it? What is it, 4 and a bit points, I think. But when they come out, it didn't come out a hell of a lot, really, did it? And to be honest with you, you could probably adjust this range to sort of maybe there or there. Let's put it there. So it touched here, touched here, touched here. So it's negligible exactly where the top of that is. You could bring it down to the next level, touch there, touch there, touch there. But it's not a significant break. That's more like a break, isn't it? Well, actually, let's just get rid of this a minute. Yeah, it's not a significant break, really, is it? It's only sort of like a tick or so. If that candle lasted another second or so, that could have come down here. So, but we have got this bullish imbalance, which is the bottoms here, bottoms here, bottoms here. Even though that's one tick higher than that, it's still slowly moving in that direction, isn't it? So, taking shorts. Yeah, if you'd have taken that, if that breakout there, if you'd have taken that short there, it's triggered you. It looks like it's going to stop you out there. So that's another play. That's another reason why I want to leave these alone, because that is a trade that I may have taken. And what do they say? This is clearly a range. Sell the tops. I remember Max saying when I first joined his group, he said he loves range days. They're easy. Short the tops, buy the bottoms. Well, if you'd have shorted that, big bearish bar, it had triggered you and stopped you out. If you'd have triggered that, if you'd have taken that, which is right at the very top, you know, we've sort of touched a couple of times here, we've touched here, we've touched here, we've touched here. You think that would be a good short, wouldn't you? But obviously, you know, experience, and that's telling you that even though it is sideways, we're now sort of got this sort of bullish momentum. But you can understand why less experienced people read a comment like that, short the tops, buy the bottoms, then you can understand. But that's why I'm going to more the type of trades that Vlad does and leaving those alone. Because in another life, I might have took that, and that would have been a lost trade. Big bearish bar, I might have took that, and that would have been another lost trade. So Try and get back to these nice second entries, the bread and butter trades, and the sort of second entries within a channel, sort of here. That would have been where we go. First entry, second entry. Although it's a bit choppy and a bit in the middle, but just for the count, that would have been a good second entry. It's in a great place. Obviously, it would have made it, but it is a little bit choppy in the middle. But, I'm saying normally, if we were in this range, that would be a second entry. That would be a failure within a trend. But yeah, let's get back to the bread and butter ones and leave the slightly more riskier ones alone, and just observe the market when it does things like this and just see what happens. And you put yourself on too much pressure by deciding to quit your job and trade full time. I haven't quit my job, mate. I still work 3 days a week. It's just the last couple of times, because I made some money, I decided to just do the Saturdays and Sundays. But I'll be trading 3 days, and I'm driving trucks at the moment, and I do like 12 to 14 hour shifts. So I can take home a good wage just doing those 3 days. The money's better. It's time and a half on a weekend, so I get the equivalent of sort of 4.5 to 5 days just on 3 days. So it wasn't the pressure of doing that. It wasn't the pressure of earning money. It was just, I think I had that one bad day, the $2,000 loss, instead of, the trouble is I had this feeling that I'd had 18 green days in a row, and I thought, well, it's not can I do it, it's I am doing it. And I think that's what happened. I tried to recover my losses. Instead of taking the first 2 losses, a maximum of $800. Now, if you look back on a lot of my days, I suppose the average day was $500. A great day was over $1,000. So $800 you can get that back in a day. So that's not too bad. And I read somewhere, never lose more in a day that you can't get back in another day. So if I'd have walked away at the $800, then things wouldn't have been so bad. But I tried to recover my losses, and I ended up going downhill and taking a massive. I did $2,300. I lost in a day, and obviously that amount of loss affected me the following day, and I had about another $1,900 loss. So I'd lost a ton of money within the space of. So it wasn't the giving up the work. I haven't given up work. I haven't given up work. It's just the problem is with me. It was the loss. Instead of maintain, I thought I'm on green days. I don't need any rules. I can just carry on. But that's what it was. I needed to maintain some rules, and I didn't. That was the problem. So I must have a position of loss that I must walk away from. Let's have a look here. So, okay, so we've broken yesterday's highs. Yeah, that was the problem, basically. Let's have a look. Chad. There's no rejection of the top of the range or acceptance of prices. Yeah. Yeah, I can see this is sort of more pushing up, isn't it? But I was just making a point about taking a trade like that normally. If that was here, although it might win, those are the ones I'm going to try and stay away from now. And all that one, that trade bounced off a few places here. So maybe someone like Mac would take that, but I'm just going to continue just to focus on the second entries and the failures and stuff like that, the more bread and butter for now, and just build my confidence. But I was just using that as an example of picking tops and bottoms, which is I'm going to avoid for a while. Let's have a look. You just have to try in a sim if it does. Yeah. The trouble is, if you're taking riskier trades in a sim and they work, they can give you a sort of false confidence. But what I'm going to try and do is just observe why that came back into the channel. Yeah, why that came back into the channel. Just make observations, or I can put a little mark and, you know, think, okay, that one would have won. Let's put a little mark and just put a little note in a book or something. Okay, you know, it respected it so many times. But, you know, Mac takes things like traps, triple tests, tops and bottoms and stuff. I'm avoiding those for now, and I'm just focusing on the trades that Vlad mentioned. He says he works on 95% plus win rate. Now, if you can do that, you're a gold mine, aren't you? So it's just being strict enough to take just those three setups. Well, the two main setups, really. The second entries and the failures. See, this being a failure. Although it's, Mac does say if you get 3 or more bars sitting side by side, have alarm bells. Obviously, it worked there, didn't it? I don't think that was a terrible trade, was it? And it would have maybe the fact where it was, but just from, you know, from point of reference, first entry, second entry, it's a failure. Bullish bar right off the key entry point, right off the EMA, pushing upwards, and that worked anyway. But this demo day is just to get my confidence back and just to give me a little bit less pressure and time to have a little bit of a chat and get my sort of confidence back. So we've had this push up now, and this little trend, it's clearly a trend. It seemed like it was working that way. We had this blow here, and then every time it came back down there, that is a tick less than that. It's slowly moving upwards. And I want to try and focus more on the smaller trends and not constantly trying to find bigger trends. Because the trouble is, if you're constantly trying to find bigger trends, it can get you in trouble. So for instance, this trend here, if we have a break and a new high, and I draw a bigger trend, we could have another break. I did it the other day. I changed something and we had a break, and I went long for a new high, which we'd already actually made. So I'm just going to keep these until we get maybe a touch here, you know, make it a little bit more clearer. And if you watch Marco trade, he constantly focuses on the small stuff. And he seems to have some good success with it. Got to give Wilson credit. He's withdrawn like 10 grand. Is he? I don't think he's withdrawn anything. If you look on his page, it says withdrawn 0, doesn't he? He's only just built it up, isn't he? He's got. I don't think he can yet. I don't think none of them are over 52,000 yet, are they? I don't think he has. He's only just passed the other lot, hasn't he? I think. I might be wrong, but. Do you know what? I remember the first time I saw Wilson, he was trading like 20, 30 contracts, obviously on a demo. Everyone thought it was a live account, but he seemed to kill it. And I thought, even if it is a demo, this guy's a gold mine, he's going to make a load of money. And then he started doing evaluations and he started falling apart. And it just goes to show how much, when you have a risk, even someone who kills it on a demo, how it can affect them. But I know he's got 20 peer accounts now, and if you look on his page, he's slowly building them up. I think they're up to around about the $1,500 mark, something like that. But he only trades one contract on each, so he's quite careful. So I think if you're doing that many accounts, I think one contract on each is ample, isn't it? I think. Okay, so we've had a break and a new high. So technically that's played out. Whether it comes back and goes higher or not, I don't know, but. Yeah, his vid show total withdrawn 10 grand. Oh, unless he's just withdrawn it, I don't know. So we've had a break of this channel anyway. No, yeah, look. That was yesterday's. Amount withdrawn 0. I think he's just building each account up. I think he's up to 51,000 something or other, but he's building them all up. This was yesterday, so he's trying to get to that target, which I think is 5,000 in each. I think, but this is his total at the moment. But he's not withdrawn anything as yet. But he's doing things the right way, isn't he? 20 accounts. I think my only issue with 20 accounts would be, oh my God, I think it's hard enough to monitor a few accounts in here, but he uses a lot of limit orders and he doesn't seem to have any problems. I did have a chat with him a week or so ago and said I'd been having issues with the trade copy. How did you get on with it? And he said he had no real problems. And he uses a lot of limit orders because he sort of has limit orders ready quite a lot and brings them down. But I'm sure someone said to me, that limit orders are more problematic with a trade copy. I don't know. In fact, I might use a few limit orders here actually and see how we get on. Yeah, no, he's doing it the sensible thing. He's building up nice and slowly, but what he's doing is the right way to do it. Actually, he's got 20 accounts and just trading one contract. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're trading one contract and making $100 a day on that one contract with 20 contracts, what you're doing is making $2,000 a day. That's $40,000 a month. So that's the way to do it. He's been really well controlled here and he's carefully taken it up. I think my only issue with doing something like that at the moment is I wouldn't be able to afford to pay for all the $140 per account. That's what, $1,400. That's $2,800 just in the one-off fees. But no, he's doing it the right way. My plan is to get one paying and then just add a few too. But obviously that wasn't the case this time around. So look, we have. Let's just bring that. Something like that, yeah. Now you could say we've had a little bit of an overshoot, but I don't think we have. It's just so we've had a break. That is a break and a new high. Now whether it'll come back here and push higher, but I suppose the beauty about having a break and a new high is maybe not as massively convincing as it is. We're coming back here. I think it's very easy to think about going along again, isn't it? When technically it has broken that channel and made a new high, even by a tick or two. So that's where I think having these drawn correctly really plays a part, because if you decide to go, let's do that, okay. It might be the case, but it touches here and we brought it back to here, so we haven't included any of this. So I think the safe bet is to do something like that, which is more like what it is really. Come back to the EMA, push that, come back to the EMA, and we broke. So that's definitely a break and a new high. Whether we'll continue to try again, because it might not be as convincing. It's hard to say. Testing highs of yesterday. Yeah, this is it, isn't it? So we've broken above it, come down below it. So let's see if we bounce off it or we come down. But obviously there's a little bit of news now. It's this medium news. Does seem like it's going to push a bit higher, doesn't it, with that? Thing is, we have had the break and the new high, so thinking that might be the way to push higher. Never triggered anyway, even if anybody did take that. But Brant, I mean, you imagine in a month or two's time, when he's got them accounts open, that account up month or two time, and he can take $2,000 out of each account, or $40,000 in a month. Oh, I mean, that is serious money, isn't it? $40,000 in a month, and all he's doing is trading the equivalent of one contract, and the rest are just copying. So once you can get to that stage that you can really control those emotions, the potential for earning some serious money is definitely there, isn't it? Okay, so we've had this new high. We've pushed below the EMA, trying to go once, trying to go twice, possible failure, but it looks a little bit messy to me. We've just had that news. It does to me like we're going to continue higher. Yeah, it's pushing strongly, isn't it? Yeah, although we've had this break in a new high, sometimes it'll push higher, won't it? I don't think there's anything in the way of a trend there, is there? Actually, that fits quite nice. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? What do you do about that? Because the bottoms fit lovely, top doesn't. Let's just leave that there for now. Okay, so we started here. Let's get that right. Touched here, touched here. Okay, so we've come back to the EMA, come back. I mean, that may sort of grow a little bit and incorporate this. It's hard to say at the moment, but I'm only leaving it there. I'm not trading money at the moment, but I'm just leaving it there for the fact that it has confirmed that bottom line for certain. Let's see what happens here. 20 accounts is not like investment, especially if you're not 100% confident. Yeah. So it takes much longer to get his first payout. One contract. Yeah, it does. But I suppose sometimes I can tend to rush things a bit. You know, a couple of people said to me, well, why don't you go down to one contract? And yeah, it's probably the sensible thing to do. But obviously, if you're trading one contract as opposed to two contracts, there's certainly less pressure. So a loss isn't felt as harshly. You know, I've got a $2,500 drawdown, which enables me to get a maximum of 6 trades wrong in a row. Now, if I'm getting 6 trades wrong in a row, I'm obviously not in the right frame of mind, but you take that down to one contract, you can take 12 losses in a row. The trouble is, if you do take a bunch of losses, sometimes it knocks you back that much. It takes a lot to recover, but I like the fact about just doing the one monthly, not doing the monthly, just having the one-off payment, because let's say I've had some stuff on my mind or something's gone on at home and I'm not in the right frame of mind, I've had a bad day, I could just take a week off trading if I wanted to. In fact, when I had that big loss, if I didn't have the continuous monthly payments, I could have just took a week off or a couple of weeks off. You haven't got that pressure then. Once you've paid that one-off fee, if you've had a really bad day or a couple of bad days and your mind doesn't feel in the game, you can just have a few days off and you haven't got to, you haven't got to worry about it. Is there a day or a moment where everything just clicked for you and you understood what you had to do to be consistent? Was there a day or a moment you understood that you had to be? Well, streaming definitely made a difference. But what it's hard to say really, because it's hard to find that. You learn quickly that the only way you ever get anywhere in this business is you have to be consistent. And sometimes in the past, I've thought, okay, if I can earn this much and I can earn that for next month and I'll earn this for the month after and then I'll do this and I'll do that. I think really you only need to look ahead as your next trade, because you're only really as good as your next trade. So really, I suppose as a trader, the most important thing is your next trade. And I think you just need to trade one day at a time, one trade at a time. You wait for that good trade, you take that good trade. But I would say, to answer your question, I would say streaming definitely helped. But you will go through lots of stages where you're blowing accounts. Everybody does. It's a fact. And you'll do something similar to what I did yesterday if you were looking, if you watched it, and you just go on tilt. I think everybody does it at some point. Some people do it a lot. Some people probably learn a bit quicker. It depends on your mentality. But streaming helped me. But the only way it works to be consistently profitable, you just have to take You obviously need the skill enough to learn, what's going on in the markets and to follow the rules. That just takes time, but it's just a process. There's no other way, way to say it. But I think after a few days of streaming, and I just seem to get myself in a better frame of mind, because obviously if you've got people watching, you don't really want to make a tit yourself, do you? Let's see where this closes. So, but we do seem to have this, a bit of an overshoot here, but it might not be. So, see what happens. I mean, it's touching here, touching here, touching here. Finished nice here, but it's gone above it here. In fact, that may end up coming up here, mightn't it? But let's leave that there for now. But it is a process. It's just a process. You've just got to keep getting up every day and going through. And there's days which are great, and there's days where you feel absolutely broken. Like, there's no other way of saying it. It can really destroy you mentally sometimes. Trading for them now, are you, Jacko? Oh, good on you, mate. How many contracts are you trading on them, Jacko? On each one of those, bud? In fact, I'm gonna trouble is, you can keep extending it, can't you? I mean, it only started here, didn't it? So realistically, that doesn't even necessarily need to touch here, does it? Obviously, we've got some form of a trend anyway, but let's leave it there for now. So we've had a bit of an overshoot here. Trouble is, if I take it to there, there's 3 different levels, up here, down here, and up here, isn't it? If I take it there, the trouble is, it's hard to say, isn't it? It seems to be respecting it there, so. Or we could get rid of it. Let's get rid of it for now. Let's concentrate on the small stuff. Okay, so that it's had a break. 2 pushes up to a new high, and that smaller one's had a break. Up again. What else we got here? So, yeah, I mean, market's certainly reacting. Markets are certainly reacting to the sort of the promise of lower interest rates. It was always going to be the catalyst, wasn't it, after COVID? I know the cryptos have been acting positively. I think people are starting to get a better feeling about things, aren't they? And they're sort of willing to put their money back into things. And that whole sort of feeling of, oh, things are starting to improve, we're over the worst of it, gives you a nice sort of warm, fuzzy feeling, doesn't it? And you tend to think, well, I'll get my money back in now. So I'm guessing have some sort of accountability to mistakes, helps you learn. I don't know if it helps you learn. It just makes you not want to make it at yourself. I'm going to say yesterday, I had a bad day yesterday. I wasn't in the best frame of mind anyway for some reason. I don't quite know why. But I took a trade going along, which actually wasn't a bad trade. But I tried to let it run higher instead of... Now, what I've got to remember, if we get 2 pushes down, I try and take 4 points minimum. But what I should have done, as a matter of fact, is put my stop somewhere, my take profit around here. So if I took this as a long, instead of trying to push higher, what happened? It popped above it and came back quickly. So what turned into a 3.5 point profit ended up losing me a trade, and that put me in a funny mood because the trade was okay. It's just I tried to run it. So what I need to remember to do, if there's a lot of room to the top, or I know we're in a continuous downtrend, then I'll try and run it a bit more. But if we're not, something like this, we've had a couple of pushes up. It doesn't necessarily indicate we're going to go higher. We could start to come back down. So what I need to do is remember that if I do go short along there, I need to make sure that I haven't got my profit too high up, and I need to get out at the highs, or at least, get my sort of profit, drag it up and get it close. But I tried to let it run, thinking it was going higher, and it ended up coming back, and I ended up losing, and that put me in a filthy mood, I think. Crazy how the market's given us nothing. Yeah, it is. Do you know what, Jacko? I did I did trading day. We had it was a few weeks ago, we had a lovely trending down, and I had 3 beautiful trades all within 15 minutes. Beauties they were, and they all were lovely. And then you'll get days like, I don't know, over the last few days, there's been some strong movements, but no real setups, and just some bloody awful choppy stuff. You know what I mean? Some days it just seems to work, and other days, but that's the mark of a good trader that's able to control his feelings on days where you have not a lot. I saw Marco the other day. Over the space of 4 hours, he'd marked 2 trades, and he's more experienced than I am. But some days you're forced to sit there through the boredom. And let's face it, as Vlad says, trading's boring at times. We come here to make money, and we want to look for setups, and you're all eager, and that's the trouble. When your patience starts to go, you drop your standards, and you think, oh, well, it's nearly there, so you take it. And when you take those trades, they're the ones that affect me the most. Like that trade you took yesterday, Brant. If I'd have taken that short yesterday and it had failed, I wouldn't have felt too bad because it looked like a good trade. But if I was trying to bend the rules a bit, and it backfired on me, those are the ones that tend to put me on tilt in the past. So as long as you take a trade which you believe to be a good trade, I can live with those, because if they failed, then I'd usually take a screenshot, post it on the website, on the Facebook group, and say what went wrong, But I have less days like that now where I take a trade and I don't know why. Usually, after the fact, it's a lot more obvious and you can figure it out yourself. That just sort of comes with a bit of experience. But it's the trades that I know. See, for instance, we had that new high there. There's a second entry there. It's below the EMA. It's not a brilliant bar. We've already made a break in a new high. Now, if I took that and thinking it might go higher, and that ticked above here and then dropped down, that was me taking a risky, stupid trade. Although it was a second entry, we'd already had a break in a new high, so technically that had played out. Although it wasn't a convincing new high, maybe to someone like Mac who's experienced, and that obviously looks like 2 legs down, but the bar isn't fantastic, and it's quite a bit from the EMA, and we've pushed strongly below the EMA, so that would be a risky trade. Now, although it worked, if it had ticked above here and come down here, it's trades like that would put me on tilt, because I knew I should have left it, and that's half the battle here. So there is a possible second entry long there. We're certainly going up. This is where I think it might be useful having that bottom, certainly the bottom there. Let's see, this might be a good area for a trade. Let's just see how this finishes. This is a nice second entry right off the key entry point. Okay, I think that's okay. Now, I didn't get as close as I should have done with it, but let's see what happens here. It is a little congested there, but then we drop below, so see what happens. I wanted to get down a tick closer, but and then we'll figure out what went wrong after this, if it does. I think the trade looks okay. It usually says 3 or more. It is 3, but obviously that one, if it's going to push higher, it is going to be there, isn't it? And it's not, I would say that's not back to back with those, so I don't think that's a terrible trade. But we'll see. Looks like it's tried to push down, but it's not. So what I need to remember is to get out maybe here and give us. Oh, it's going to stop me out, I think. It might be a higher low. What I need to remember is, as much as I like dragging that stop up and dropping it in, I've got to make sure if there's not a huge amount. So there's 3.25 points there. What I might do is just give it 3.5 and drag that up. It is struggling a bit here because it is a little bit congested there, although we did have that. It is a second entry. Now, I'd prefer that one tick, but it is off the key entry point, and we are moving up at the moment, so I think it's okay. The trouble is, when it does get congested like this, sometimes it'll break out the bottom, and that's a place to fade and go long, but obviously as it breaks out the bottom, it takes you out with it. But we only had those. We'd had the push down, a green one, another push down, so it's not mega congested because that finished the bottom section of it, but obviously as now we've added these two, it is getting a bit that way, but I think we're okay. Two trades are working, so I must keep an eye on this as well because I've got to learn how to use this trade copier for future reference. That is a higher low. If it ticks above there, although it is congested a little bit, don't think it was terrible before that. If it ticks above there, I think then we're likely to move higher. But it's definitely a second entry long. See if the trend gets us out of this one. Yeah, we clearly had a push down, and then we'd had a high, then we pushed down again. So it's clearly a second entry long, but he's a little bit sideways there, and I think that's what's caused it to continue going sideways. Okay, that's why then. Okay. So now let's see if we can fade this. See if this ends up bullish. Good thing about trading on a demo, you ain't got to worry. Okay. Yeah, I think that probably, though it is two legs down to the mate, it is a little bit sideways, and I think that's why that probably failed a bit. Mac does say 3 or more. Well, there's 3, and then we did drop down, which is this, but that's clearly to me why it's congested, and obviously it sent it continued congested, and then obviously when it's congested like that, you're sort of in the lap of the gods a bit, but that's why that went wrong, because there's 3 bars or more. Yeah, that's the trouble as well. We may have that overshoot. I probably should have left that there a bit. That's the trouble, is if you get these wrong, see, it really can throw the picture. What I probably should have done was left it there because it's touching more times there than. So yeah, we've had this sort of overshoot, which can push it this way. Doesn't necessarily, but I know Max saying, I watched it again about congestion. If you get 3 or more overlapping bars, well, there's 3 there. So straight away, I should have thought, well, there's 3 bars. So I should have left that one. Now, it may have gone up, but obviously on this occasion, it didn't. But that's the trouble if you don't get your chart right. See, Mac doesn't talk too much about charts in his videos about, when to touch them, when to, It's hard to say. See, some people might have put that there. Some people might have put it there, but I think what I did wrong there was we've got 3 bars going sideways. Now, 3 weeks ago, I'd have left that alone. But I've got to remember that, so we've got to push in 3 sideways, yeah. So it's congested, so I should have left that alone. So overshoots can push it out the other side, and also could send it in another direction, so it can cause a move in another direction. Almost took it. Yeah, that's the problem, I think, isn't it? The issue is those 3 for sure. Yeah, I mean, when I started 4 or 5 weeks ago, I'd have said, and I can picture myself saying, okay, we got 3 bars there, so that's risky, so I should have left it. And the trouble is, if that would have pushed higher, it just puts that wrong information. But Mac does say, and I've heard him say it, if there's 3 bars stacking side by side, 3 or more, then you need to stay out of it, and that was the problem. But okay, I don't mind getting that wrong, because that's put that back. I kind of like it when you do something like that and it reminds you that although it is a second entry long and we're clearly in an upwards trend, that showed. Now, it could have been because of the overshoots, but it's by the by that what's caused this, the fact is you need to stay away if there's 3 or more bars back to back, and there's clearly 3 there, so it's clearly going sideways, and obviously that changes the odds just go out the window then. Yeah, obviously measured moves make a difference as well, so let's have a look. So there's a measured move here. About there, yeah. So there's a measured move. So in a lot of cases, that can be when it comes back, and it obviously has. The bit that I should have used alarm bells was not the fact that we necessarily had the measured move. All that does give you an indication that it has made a measured move, so then it's likely going to come back or likely going to pull back. Where it pulls back to, obviously, that depends on lots of things. But the alarm bells and the bit that should have stopped me from taking that trade was those 3 bars back to back. Now, I'm kind of glad it's happened, because it has. Sometimes you need these little lessons forced back into your head for next time, and I'm glad it's happened on a demo. Although it is a second entry, the alarm bells should have been that there's 3 bars stacking, so that's okay. What happened to your peer cake? That's a good question, mate. Things were doing really well. Things were doing well, and then I had a bad day. I should have walked away at 2 losses, but I didn't. I tried to recover, and I ended up making me worse. And I lost about $2,300 in one day, and that. And what I should have done is after that day is had a few days off, and I didn't. I came in trading the next day, lost about $1,800, and that put things bad, put me in a bad place. And just with what's been happening lately, I ended up just blowing it basically. But I have a new one. I passed the evaluation. I have a new one starting on Wednesday. So it was a lesson. And these, it's never plain sailing. If you're getting a PA account and it pays out, it doesn't mean that things are plain sailing or, trading becomes a doddle. From there on, it doesn't. It's always going to be tough. It's always going to be tough. And I think you always need to be on your game. I think you need to do... That's over 2, though, isn't it? So that goes from that high there. It's over. Yeah, you need to just trade. If you ask me what thing I need to improve or what I need to focus on more, is one trade at a time. Not think about the day or not think about the week. How much have I made this week? How much do I want to make? I've got to make this. I've got to make that. I think it's just a matter of sitting down, during a session, whether you sit down for 2 hours or 4 hours or 3 hours or whatever, and then just trade one trade at a time. Wait for a good setup, take the trade. Once it's done, forget it and move on. Move on to the next one. And I think if you can get 2 winning trades in a row, I think that is a decent time to walk away. Like Vlad says, he thinks your concentration starts to diminish once you've been trading for longer than 2 hours. So it depends on you. It depends on whether you're quite a calm person and you can literally stay there for hours. Some people can. Some people are quite comfortable doing it. But I think that depends on the individual. But I think 2 hours, 2.5 hours, certainly maximum 3 hours, I would say, is probably a good time to walk away. Unless you've taken your trades and you want to trade on a demo just for some extra experience, or you want to just, sit and have a chit chat, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I need to focus just on one trade at a time, wait for a good setup. But that one, the trouble is sometimes when you get in the wrong frame of mind, you can your brain almost bypasses that. I can tell you, if someone took that and they said, why did it go? Straight away I go, because you got 3 bars back to back. I know that. And I just need to follow the rules a little bit. To get myself. Yeah, you will do. You just need to keep trying. It does take time. And it's not easy. But I believe if you keep trying and you want it bad enough, you'll get there. All your accounts are blown. Yeah, you're not on your own, mate. Everyone blows accounts. If anybody says they've never blown an account, they're a liar. We've all blown accounts. I've blown about 95 of them. Now I know people who've blown more than double what I've blown, and I know people who've only blown I think 6 or 7, and before they started to make some money. So it depends on the individual. It's all about, it depends a lot on the person. Need to wait 20 more days. Okay. Yeah, you don't mean the PA account payouts now. They're only 10 days now. You need to trade 10 days. But in 1 month, I passed an evaluation and got an account up to take a payment. So it can be done. And I did well at it. It worked really well. I was just very, very focused. I was in the right frame of mind. I took, relatively good trades. There was I had a couple of times where I had a bit of luck and a couple of times where I didn't have a bit of luck. One day I was waiting on a trade and I sort of I was waiting for a bearish one, and I think, and I dragged my profit or whatever it was over my order, and I dropped it for some reason, and it hit it, and that put me in a bad. So you're going to get bad days. You're going to get days which are frustrating. But I think the more you do it, the longer you've been doing it, you get used to the feelings and the emotions you have, and they begin to not play as big as a role as they used to. But it does take time. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it and making a ton of money. What's your action plan after what happened yesterday? How are you planning to prevent it from happening again? Well, the plan is to move down to one contract. So I'm going to pay this one-off fee now instead of having a monthly fee. So the plan is to go down to one contract until I can get, I'm thinking to about $5,000. That's the target. If I can get to $5,000, then I'll move back up to two contracts. 2 trades maximum loss in a day, any one trade at any one point. If I lose 2 trades in a day, I stop trading for the day. That's another plan. I never go back and trade again after I've closed down the stream and closed trading for the day. I never go back. So that's another plan. So those are the main ones, really. Limit my risk by and the pressure by going from 2 to 1 contracts. Maximum 2 losing trades in any one day. So it'll take me a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it because the pressure, losing $200 on a trade is a lot better than losing 400. Well, there's 358, so $360 including fees. So half of that, $180, $170. It's a lot less to lose. It has a lot of effect on you, a lot less effect on you. So that's the plan anyway. So reduce my contracts by half. And I won't change them until I get up above $5,000. And then just try and do what I initially did when I first started. Sit and wait for trades, good trades, leave things like anything congested alone. Just try and move on. If I find I have a loss or a couple of days of a loss, and I think my psychology has been affected a little bit, I'm going to take a couple of days off, or 2 or 3 days off. And the beauty about not having a monthly payment is you haven't got to think about, well, I need to make something back because I've still got this, $8 to $80 odd coming off every month. So I got the one-off fee. Once that's paid, I can take 6 months to get up to $5,000, 6 weeks, whatever I need, whatever it takes. But if I do have a couple of bad days, and I feel like I'm not at my best when I'm trading, and I'm just going to take a day or 2 off. Well, no, I'm going to stay in a sim for the next 3 or 4 days until I start my PA account. It's just trades like that I know I shouldn't have took because of the 3 bars. Now, I've always had that issue with trading on a demo account. That it doesn't matter whether that wins or loses. You're not going to lose anything, and that's sometimes where I have an issue with trading on a demo account. Trading a demo account is good for learning things, without any pressure. But obviously, once you get to a certain level, you've got to start to add pressure because that's the toughest part of trading is the psychological side. That's what I like. That's why I'm a fan of the evaluations, because we almost always get 80% off every month nowadays, and it works out $33. So it's not, you couldn't go out and have a night out for $33. So it's not a lot to risk for a good bit of experience of what it feels like. To sort of have that risk. Okay. That looks pretty good. So we've had a break of that and a new low. Okay, so we seem to be possibly moving in the next direction. It's hard to say. Sometimes an overshoot can lead to that. A reversal. So let's see what happens here. I know I can do it. I had 18 green days in a row, so I know I'm capable of doing it. I know what a good trade looks like. And I know that I should stay out of that. It's not like through lack of experience, it's just lack of focus. You have 7 evals, do you? Yeah. One thing I will say, yeah, it's quite a lot of money. One thing I will say is my honest opinion is while you're failing evaluations, while you're in that mode of constantly failing them and blowing them, I wouldn't have any more than one. Because all that does is throws money away. If you're copying trades, if you've got 5 evaluations, you're obviously trading one of them, you're copying the rest. If you're blowing one, all you're doing is copying bad trades. So I've never had more than one in a row while I was continuously failing them, because you're just throwing away 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money. You need to go through that, blowing them, and get it out of your system, and I wouldn't do it on any more than one account. I really wouldn't. You're just throwing away twice as much. I agree with you, Brant. Yeah, market conditions have trade. Well, I started trading this style a little over a year and a half ago, and things seemed a lot easier, a lot more straightforward. I found it easy to trade. You get a lot more really horrible, choppy, unpredictable days. And I like to think that a lot of it's down to the way the economy's been with I think a lot of this stemmed from COVID. COVID cost governments all around the world a fortune, a ton of money that was put into the medical care, just into paying people for basically staying. I know the UK forked out billions. You know, so I was self-employed at the time. My job just ended, and I was getting grants, $3,500 grants every few months, and a lot more were getting a lot more than me. Yeah, it is. I've noticed on Max chart and Marco's charts, there's a lot less trades and a lot less good trades out there. And the trouble is, you know, we're all looking for setups, aren't we? And all of a sudden, you start to reduce the amount of good setups. It requires you to have more patience, and that I've heard Max say that's where the really good consistent trader, plays it. It's in its element, really, because he's got the patience to be able to wait and sit through these times, you know. But the trouble is, when you're less experienced, we're that eager to get in there and we're that eager to succeed and make money, we don't take enough into consideration. There are days where you need to be very careful. We want to make money every day. We want to do trades every day. And, you know, sometimes you may struggle. And sometimes, you know, you might get one trade, you might get 2. The other day, I had 3 trades within the space of 15 minutes. Beauties they were. And then other days, you may get one, and you've really got to wait and hunt and be patient for that. So, but, you know, if you can do it and you can muster up those skills and patience and learn, potentially you can make a ton of money in this business. But you've really got to have your patience and your wits about you to do it. And that doesn't come easy. It takes time. It's like anything. You know, if trading was that easy, everyone would be doing it, making a fortune. It's because it isn't why the amount of people in it are limited. And why? Because there's such a high failure rate. Because it is hard. Yeah, to be fair, I'm not thinking about going short or long here at the moment. We have had this overshoot, which has caused a break. A bit of a channel low, but it is a little bit sideways at the moment. So even though that was second entry short, it's not below the EMA. It's got a bit of a stem on it, although it may come down. But it's gone a little bit sideways, isn't it? And usually the sideways means there's a little bit of indecision. People are thinking, okay, we've had this push up, we've had an overshoot and a break. Are we going higher now? Not sure. Are we going lower? Not sure, because we've been going up. So that's why that causes a lot of indecision, and that tends to go you got a mixed emotions, and some people thinking we're going higher again, some people thinking, well, no, we've had the overshoot and whatever, we're going lower. So you get that sort of sideways movement. And this is where I want to try and avoid trading. I want to try and do what that Vlad mentions, taking trades within a trend, or where we have, a break of a trend. If we hadn't made this high, second entry off the key entry point to make a new high, and those and failures within a trend. So when it starts to go sideways like this, especially in such a small, 2, 4, 6, 8, less than 8 points from top to bottom, these are the areas where the inexperienced get trapped. And I've struggled in places like this, so I'm going to try and leave this alone now. Yeah, I think it's the patient traders that make the better traders, because ultimately there are days where it's chopping all over the place. And I've heard Max say before, that's where the skilled trader comes in, because he's got the patience and he knows days like that you have to sit. And I've got to say, sometimes you can sit there for 2 hours. It's much better to go out on zero than try and force something and go out $400 down. There's no shame in going home after 2 hours work and not earning any money. Much better to do that than try and force it. And I've done it myself. I've sat here for 3 or 4 hours and I've got nothing. And on that, you think, oh, I want something for the day. So you end up thinking, oh, I'll take that. Fail second entry. And right in the middle of a range. It triggers above, comes down and stops you out. So easy to do that. You think one push up, pull back, another push up. And you try and force something, you try and make something. See this here, we got this new low, yeah, trying to go low once, trying to go low twice, nice big bullish bar. You think, oh yeah, one push up, second push up, we're coming up here. So you take that, goes up 4 ticks, comes back, stops you out, because you've forced a trade that wasn't meant to be. Does look like it's starting to move down a bit. That's the trouble. See, you could say this, okay, there's our new high. We'll call that a lower high. Big bearish bar, right down the bottom. Let's go short there. Triggers, goes up, stops you out. So it's times like this, unless you're really experienced and you know exactly what you're doing, you just got to stay out of. I mean, even Vlad, I don't know how long Vlad's been doing it, quite a few years, I'd say, and Vlad doesn't take any of these. He doesn't pick tops, he doesn't pick bottoms. He'll take trades within a range, within a channel. And don't get me wrong, if we got a nice big overall range, it doesn't mean you can't still take trades, because there are obviously channels within ranges. So if we got a channel here, you first entry set the failure, you could have taken that one. Obviously that one's a little bit risky because it's away from there, but it's a channel and it's a failure. So you could take that one. In fact, it's a lovely bar and it's off the key entry point. I tend to avoid those because I like them closer to this, but if you know what you're doing, same here. Trying to go low once, trying to go twice. Another big bearish bar went up. The trouble is, they've got 3 stacking, so you've got to be careful. So it's having the patience to sit through these, and it is a failure, but it's risky because you got 3 bars, and that one is a failure, but it's risky because it's a little bit too far away from the EMA, although it is going up quite tightly. Taking trades like that failure, that's where experience comes into it, because I see Mac taking trades quite a bit away from the EMA, but to the less experienced trader like me, that would be a bit more risky. And same with this here. We're obviously going sideways at the moment, so every time we come to the bottom, we're going up. So we got a new high. Try to go once, try to go twice. You could call that a failure. But you're going short right at the very bottom of a channel. Well, we don't know yet where we're going up or down because we're going sideways, although we do seem to be having a slight. But look at that, see. Try to go once, try to go twice. That one looks like it's about to trigger. And that's a possible failure, but we're right at the bottom of this. And look what happens when we get down the bottom, we push up. We get down the bottom, we push up. So what do you think this is going to do? Chances are it's going to push up. It has triggered now, this. I'm not saying it's not coming down because it does give you that impression, but do you monitor other indices? Not really, no. And the reason I don't is I've never heard Mac has said to. even things like the daily and the 10,000 that I look at, I've never heard Mac mention you need to. So we've had a breakout of this range now. Most breakouts fail, but in my opinion, you should only trade. Well, I'm pretty sure Mac will say this. You should only trade in the trade the failure in the direction of the market. At the moment, we're coming down, so shorten a breakout from here is the only option. You don't want to be doing it down here. But these are all things I know, and I know well. The trouble is, when you get in one of those negative, frustrating frame of minds, you tend to block out a lot of that. No, I don't look at the NQ or any of those. I've never heard Mac mention you need to keep an eye on stuff like that. The only other chart I see Mac mention and look at is the daily, just to sort of give us an idea of where it's been, where it may go tomorrow. You went short at the breakout. What breakout? Here. Did you go short here, Jacko, did you? Yeah, this looks like it's sort of two pushes down, doesn't it? There's that one. There's that one. Yeah, I do know the rules. I just choose to ignore them from time to time when I really shouldn't. That's there. That's there. On the top. Yeah, look at that. Started there, finished there. Look at that. Second leg down perfectly, right to the nearest tick. Two clear legs down. So that is a good indication of market. In a lot of cases can fizzle out there and move back in the opposite direction. So if we do have I'm not saying we have, but let's say we got like a channel down here. Obviously it's not because it doesn't look right, but when we've had two pushes down, that's then usually an indication if you may get that pull back or a correction. It's actually, played its part, sort of two parts, but 6 points on that second entry short. Which second entry short do you take? That one there? Went short after it closed outside. Where did it close outside? Have you got yours drawn differently from me? I've done that, and I'll tell you why. Because the body finishes there, 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 touch there. I can't see anywhere else where it fits more. That fits less. That fits the best. That's the best fit to me. Body, 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 touch. So I can't see it. And what, you wait for it to, you went down here, did you? Or did you put your fairly down here? I can't remember what you said now. After it closed outside, risky, but I got you. Okay, so in other words, you went short about here, did you? Yeah. I mean, you're less likely to fade a breakout here, aren't you? Because the direction is down at the moment. They say only fade in the direction of the trend, and at the moment, although it's not what you call, So, yeah, so that overshoot, I can't see anywhere where it's broken. I mean, the bottom fits nice. We've had that breakout and that, but I think it's the overshoot. And overshoots can, if I remember rightly, send it in the opposite direction, which is done. So that has played out anyway. A little bit sideways. If you get a feel for these ranges, when there's a measured move in play. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think that's the difference between following the rules and bending the rules when you know, because I notice Mac a lot of times, sometimes it's not a second, it's a third or fourth entry he'll take. And I'm thinking, well, he promotes the rules, but he bends them. And I think, like you say, we've had that overshoot. And in a lot of cases, the overshoot can lead in a move in the opposite direction. So we've had that one leg down, or we've had a little bit of sideways, and usually when you get a bit of sideways, it comes in and it goes out the opposite side. So yeah, I was saying, it looks to me like the market's starting to tip. It's not getting back up here, so that's indicating to me that it's going down. So I mean, yeah, there's that lower high there, although there is 3 back to back. But to me, it's just getting lower. You know, we got this high, then it comes down low, then it comes lower still, and it comes lower still, and it is looking like it's bending, isn't it? And usually that people start to think, oh, it's looking like it's going down, so you'll get more shorts and less buys. So that, obviously the shorts, that's why it's dropped quickly. And then when it gets down to this bottom of this measured move here, or the overnight highs, people are going, okay, and we're going back up or we're going down. And then you obviously get that area indecision again. So I understand the markets well. I understand how they work. I just sometimes we get in an odd frame of mind, and we're that eager to please, and we want to do well, like that one. Now, 3 weeks ago, if I watch back one of my videos and I get 3 bars in a row, I'm going to go, there is a second entry along here, but there's 3 bars overlapping, so it's just too risky. You can't take that. But now, straight away, I got in and took it, didn't I? So I just need to get back to that. I have been watching a couple of my own videos, the early days ones, when I was super cautious. But it worked. You know, I was extra cautious and it worked. You know, you think you've got to do lots of trades and that. You get one decent trade a day. If you're trading, 4 points or 1-to-1, you get one decent trade a day. You can make a ton of money on that. Yeah, clearly, isn't it? I mean, we're coming down here, isn't it? What's happened with EMA? Yeah, it's almost slowed down a little bit. We've gone a bit sideways, yeah? We've had this high, and then this high is lower. That high is lower still. That high is lower still. So it does look like it's going down, and obviously doesn't take a genius to work that one out. Then it starts to fall out there, and people go, it's going down. So, if anybody, there may have been some longs there thinking we're going up. So once that broke below there, you got the momentum from the shorts, and then you've got people who took that short, people who took the failure, and the combination of that obviously sent it down quick. So yeah, I do understand the markets. I understand how things work, and I know what's a good trade. I can't argue with the fact that play ignorant. Well, I'm not that experienced. Well, I'm not. I've only been trading this a little over 18 months, but I've been doing it long enough to know what a good trade is and what a risky trade is. I just need to sort of have that right frame of mind that leaves things alone when I know something isn't. We all get that feeling, don't we? Oh, something doesn't look right here. When you see a good trade, you can't wait to jump on it, can you? We all get that feeling, don't we? We see a good trade and it's like, wow, that's exciting. It doesn't get any better than that. And you can't get your order in quick enough. So we all know those trades that literally jump in front of us and start waving and going, here I am. And when we take those, they just don't fail. They always work. So we know that. And I know what a good trade like. It's just I've got myself in an impatient frame of mind. That's why I talk a lot. I'm not a quiet thinker. I need to hear it myself, and that's why I sit here and yabber on for hours, because it helps me thinking out aloud and it helps me talking through a problem. So there was no breakout fade, breakout pullback. Marco and Daniel don't tell you the truth. That's the pattern that shows. What am I missing here? You could have taken failed second entry long because it already broke the range. Well, I don't know what you're looking at, but to me, that's the bottom of the range. Touched here, the body's touched here, body touch there, body touch there, body touch there. I can't see how I'd have adjusted that. You could say there, but it's touching the body there, two bodies there, and that's it. So it could be. I tend to think it would have been there, but it's hard to say. But try go once. Yeah, the thing with alarm bells with me with that, although I am thinking it's going down, is that broke below, pushed up and closed on that line. So that's the only bit that would have took me out of that trade. But obviously it does look like it's coming down, doesn't it? Figured out since Max rules came from Albrooks, might as well. Another solid tool. Yeah, I think it's probably worth watching some Albrooks, isn't it? Just to, he might give you some a different insight. I've got to say, as much as I think Mac's a great guy and he's done a lot for traders, sometimes he doesn't explain things that well. And I wish I did message him about 3 days ago and asked him if he would just mark or tell people when he does his video at the end of the day, just tell people what trades he took, just so we can see what's in the mind of, So did he? I'd love to know whether Mac took that trade. Sometimes he'll mark it, but he'll mark 10 or 50, 10 or 12 trades in a day. But I've heard him say he only takes 2 to 3 of the best trades. So I'd just love to know which ones he took. I think that would be an invaluable tool for us. Let's set the second entry short. Yeah, I can't see a second entry short there. The only one I see is that. But that's above the EMA. So the trouble is, we've had this overshoot, but we've had this downtrend. We've had a break and a new low. So that means, depending on how strong the buyers are, we could have gone up. We could have gone up again to here and broken, moved higher, but in a sort of a different sort of, we could have done something like that, broke from here and moved up, but obviously we didn't. So that's why I don't know how comfortable I'd be going short then, because it's above the EMA, isn't it? And there's a little bit of a stem on it, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. Well, you say that. Sam, you say that. When you say going back up, there's not many stops in there, is there? I can't see where there's a lot of shorts in there. Let's have a look at this. That's congested. Come down here. Shorts here, possibly, but that's congested as well. Then we push up. I can't see where there's going to be shorts in here. I can't see there being shorts there, possibly, but even when it went above there, it didn't do much, did it? So I can't see where there's a lot of shorts in there. The only places to short is a possible failure there. But is there going to be many shorts there because of this? It's hard to say. Possibly there, but same again, 4 bars back to back. The only other place I can see is a lower high, that one, but that's quite a bit from the EMA here. Hard to say. And you'd have got, even some of the scalpers would have still got 1 point out of that. So this is a place where I normally look to go short. Trouble is, we've had an overshoot, we've had a new low, or a break in a new low, whatever we want to call it, but notice the EMA's holding price. Okay. Push up break, no new high yet. Well, we've made an equal high, haven't we? Yeah, I'd definitely say that's an overshoot, which has caused this move in the opposite direction. We definitely seem to be in a range, don't we, of sorts. A range, but with some trends in there. Would I want to go long here if the opportunity arrives? Short here. Trouble is, we're at the top of this now, aren't we? We've moved into this, and we're struggling to get higher. Which should make me think I think we're going to come down some more. So, based on that thought, would I take a second entry short around here, pushing down? Obviously, to make a decision, you need to know which way the market's likely to go. Well, at the moment, although we have had 2 legs down, but we've broken that lower leg. Sideways, we've come down again. We've come back to the MA. So if we can come up here and end bearish, then I go short, because it does look like it's struggling to get above here. There's obviously some support along here, but it needs to break above these 4 wicks for me to think about going short. Does look like it's coming down, but no real setup there, is there? You can't trade any of that at the moment. It's just chop. You could probably extend this range. Yeah, okay. Somewhere around there. Yeah, definitely some areas of indecision. Yeah. Yeah, it is that the overnight highs is creating some resistance. So I'd say based on that, probably likely going to come down some more. You can see it there, and you can see it there as well. Where's the open? There's the open there. Trouble is, a lot of the time when it does struggle up, it'll eventually break out, and it'll just pop up quickly and then shoot back. Because sometimes when we used to get all this resistance here, I used to put a little 1-point order above here, just sit it 1 tick above the highest point, and sometimes it'd pop quickly up and then come back reversed. I tried it with 2 points once and it didn't quite get up there, but I tried it with a point. And, the more times it tries to get up, it'll pop out quickly, make your point, and then come down. So yeah, I used to have it, what I used to call it, my 1 point something or other, pop or something, I can't remember, something like that. But I remember watching the market a year ago, and I counted about 12 points like this where it hit every time and I put my order above it like that with one point, and it shot up quickly in a split second, hit me order, hit me take profit, and then came straight back down. But just thinking, would you wanna fade this? Although it does look like it's coming down, the trouble is you just don't know, do you? See if it makes that second leg. If it makes that second leg, then maybe it will come down, and that might be an area to fade the breakout. Hopefully, if we can stay up here and then have another bar which goes up and then closes up here on its lows, then I'd short that back into the range, I think. I'd like to make this second leg up first. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Sorry. Can't pick tops anymore. Yeah, see, even Vlad doesn't fade breakouts. I suppose that's a little bit more risky than your bread and butter. Bread and butter shots. It has broken above this, although it didn't look very bearish. It's come back in strongly, isn't it? Gotta say, it's much more relaxing on the demo account. I gotta say, you can just sit and watch and read the market. You haven't got to worry about it. Yeah, trouble is, you say we're done with it down. It's hard to say at the moment because I'd say we're probably, because of this resistance, although we've broken above it, come back in, I'd say it's more likely to come down because there's still a lot of resistance going up. So it's even that push up didn't attract any buyers, did it? It went up, strongly rejected. It went up, rejected half of it, and then came strongly back in. And usually, if you fade the direction of the trend, it usually works. If you fade here, it doesn't usually work because at the moment, with what we've seen, things are looking down, aren't they? So I'd say it's more likely going to come out this way because obviously that fade came straight back in strongly, right down the bottom. Let's see if this one fades. Yeah, there's no second entry, nothing. See if it fades. I mean, the trouble is, you could argue now where the bottom of that range is. Is it there? Or is it there? Hard to say. Touches probably equal amount of times either way, so you could say that's fading the breakout, or you could say it's not. It might trigger and then come back down on you. Body. I don't know where else you could adjust that to, where it is. See, that's coming strongly. Yeah, probably sitting better there, I'd say. See how far it comes in. Yeah, dream trades, I know what you mean. I'd say that's probably the majority lately. Pretty chilled on it. I mean, yeah, exactly. Do you know, I've even got my feet up. What does that say? Chill on live. Thank you, mate. Compliment. Yeah. Probably because I don't know. I got to say though, when I had tough days, I can listen to my voice and I can hear the nerves in it. Little nervous coughs and stuff like that. I can hear that in my voice. So it just goes to show that how an emotional business this is. Who told me that Mac, when he started to make money, it took him about 2 more years before things didn't affect him anymore. losses, or daily losses. Someone mentioned it in the stream. It took Mac 2 years of making money before the losses, or the daily losses, either or both, stopped affecting him. I forget who it was. Yeah, whoever it was, remind me. Does look like we're slowly starting to work down, doesn't it? Where are we? Because we had that strong push up last time, didn't we? And it hasn't seemed to slowly tip yet, has it? It's just quite as strong going up as it is going down. I'd say there's certainly more resistance at the top of this channel than there is at the bottom of it, which might cause it to dip. But it's hard to say. See how far this comes up. I usually am quite a chill person. Not many things faze me. And I used to be even more than that. I mean, I used to jump out of planes for fun. I did skydiving and stuff when I was younger, and I did some scuba diving and stuff like that. But when you have kids and you get older, things change a bit. I'm not as the confident person that I used to be. I did karate on and off for 17 years, and I used to be a really strong-minded, nothing fazed me. But then, I don't know if anybody's got kids here, but when you have kids, it puts like a chink in your armour. You realise you're responsible for people, and that can be scary in itself. And that changed me a bit, that did. I'll say. Yeah, I know. I think it'll come, mate. I think there's a possibility I might not start my live account actually till a week Monday. I'll see how I feel. But it's due to start on Wednesday, but I got my mum's funeral on the Friday, so it might be advisable to continue and just trade on a demo for a couple of days. Get rid of that. Because when you get that feeling inside you, that frustration, I think really it's better to get rid of it before you come back and trade. While you've still got that knot in your stomach, that type of feeling. So I might just, obviously, that's the good thing about paying the one-off fee. You haven't got a you haven't got to worry. You can take your time. So I might just stick on a demo for a couple of days next week, and then trade my live account week money. I'll see how I feel. Sure, you're just getting a bit older. Yeah, I'm 53 now, guys. See, I'm getting on a bit now. Do get a bit risk averse. Yeah, nothing used to faze me. Nothing at all. I wasn't afraid of many things. But then when I had a daughter, that all went out the window. Let's have a look. It does seem to be slowly moving down, I'd say. Maybe not. It's a little bit lower than it was last time, so maybe it is a bit. And it went a bit lower down here, so it's hard to say. If I was a betting man, I'd say there's more chance of it doing something like that. Downwards, I'd say. You're 53, yeah? I've got to say, I've looked through my subscriptions on my YouTube channel, and I think the majority of them are quite young. I think probably about 80% of people who trade are under the age of 35, I think. 35 or 40, so me and you, probably, we're probably two old buggers, we are. I think most of you guys are a bit younger, aren't you? Grandpa comes age of wisdom, great hair. I've got a full head of hair, actually. I'm never going to lose it, but it's starting to go grey in little flecks now, but that's blown that out the window, isn't it? But yeah, you're 38, are you? Yeah, a lot. Yeah, if I look on, you can look at the analytics in your chart, and it tells you the sort of demographic of people. It tells me whereabouts they are and what age they're between. And yeah, I'd say The majority of traders are under the age of 35. So I don't know whether age is a good thing. Maybe it is. Hard to say. You're young till I try and get off the couch. Are you going through that phase yet, Toad, where you come out the supermarket and for the first 10 minutes you're wondering where the hell you put the car? I do that a lot lately. I went to Sainsbury's earlier and I came out and I was like, right, where did I put the car? And you walk down a couple of, yeah, you'll all get to that age. Okay, that's blown that out the window. Okay, there's one leg up. Maybe that's the other. In fact, I think now, because we've had that we may end up getting a bigger channel. Let's see where that comes to. See where that finishes. Maybe not. It sort of fits if it comes back there. Let's have a look at this. It's okay putting charts like this, but trading based on what they're doing or what you think they're going to do, I think that adds risk. But touch there, touch there. Let's see what happens here. Maybe it isn't. I think you're much safer doing these short-term trends. I've got to say, I watch Marco trade, and I've got to say, Marco, he's like the perfect trader to me. He's just got such a very black and white personality. You listen to him, and he's very much, okay, we have this, we have that. This interests me, or we can't take this because of that, or we can't take this because of that. He's very black and white in his trading, and I think that works well for him. But if his personality is quite the same as well, he trades very robotic. I think if you can do that, it's good. Yeah, got yesterday's highs up here as well, and that has created a little bit of interest here, isn't it? We also got the bottom of this, and also where that first leg finished. So a lot of these things can, and obviously the middle line of this as well. So I'd say somewhere around here is where it may go. So it was nice to predict where you think things are going to go, where you know what you're seeing, because it does help you make decisions. It certainly looks like we're coming up here, doesn't it? We got yesterday's high there. We've broken above the open and the overnight highs. I think this is more than a leg as well, isn't it? That's what made me think about maybe there's a bigger trend, but it's pushed above where I thought it. King, yeah, I know what you mean. It's got to age you, isn't it, to a degree? So I read somewhere about stress, and a certain amount of stress is good for you. It's when it's uncontrolled, it's bad for you. It's when it has an effect on you. It's okay to feel. It's like exercise, isn't it? Exercise is good for you, but running a marathon every day for the rest of your life probably isn't that good. So yeah, I read somewhere that stress is okay for you, but it's when it's uncontrolled. That's where it has an effect on your well-being. Okay, so we are coming up to yesterday's highs. Yeah, see, we don't even look at things like VWAP. We don't even look at how things like that affect. Matt keeps this very simple. He doesn't add any other indicators to it apart from the 21 EMA. He doesn't. He literally doesn't. All we use is sort of lines and trend channels and range channels, measured legs. But that's it. That's the thing about this trading. It's kept very simple, and the good thing about simple is it's supposed to make it easier. I don't know whether that works or not, but okay, we're just literally skimming yesterday's high, so whether that might. It's had some support here and a little bit of support here, and same again here. So it has played a part. And we've had, looks like a couple of legs in itself, that does. Does look like sort of two pushes, doesn't it? See if this. We got an email as well, actually, from Apex saying we've got another offer on 50% off. We've had 50% off for months and months and months. Incidentally, if anybody does take any evaluations, don't pay any more than 50% off. There's that many different vouchers around for 50% off at the moment, but you might get an email saying, 50% off. We have that all the time anyway, so don't ever pay any more than 50% off. And my opinion is, unless you want one desperately, I wait for 80% off, because we seem to have one once a month lately. So whether we'll have anything off soon, I don't know. I'm just thinking, what's in February? Holiday? Well, you US guys got any holidays in the States, have you? Okay. Okay, it's closed on the body there. See what happens. Yeah. Yeah, the measured leg could just be something like this, doesn't it? It doesn't always work, does it? Could just be something like that. It works to that point there, doesn't it? So we got one push up, but it's always another push up. It works to there, and then we've come down and pushed higher, but that's where the measured move, I think that's where it looked to me. And then we came down a bit, but then pushed up some more. See if it closed. It looks like it's closing bearish here, which that in itself is sort of like one push up, little bit of side, another push up. So whether this will come down or not, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? This is all pie in the sky. See how this closes. See whether that'll attract any shorts. It may do. Just trying to think if this is any type of a. Let's see if that fits anywhere. Might be a reason why. Okay, the overnight high looked like it may have created a bit of resistance. See what happens here. It's definitely played a part here and here, and here it's closed. right on that. February, President's Day. I think the market's closed. Okay. Yeah. I've got to say, the holidays, they usually do something. The holidays, don't they? I've got to say, ever since they've got this 80% now, I can't bring myself to pay, although I did buy one the other day. It breaks my heart now to pay 50% off after the 80%. So, I mean, if you want an evaluation, I've got a code up here for 50% off. It is 50% off anyway, but you don't have to use my code. But if you're using one, it doesn't cost you anymore, and I'd appreciate it. But personally, if you don't want one, you can wait. I'd hold on for another. If we do get something around the 20, if it's usually a little bit before, so a few weeks, we may get the 80% off again. But it's there if you want it. And also as well, I would have thought things like what am I thinking of? Valentine's Day, they may have something. I did get an email saying for Valentine's Day, but 50% off, which I thought was a bit odd. So I don't know. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed as well. You don't have to, but if I get this channel above 1,000 subscribers, I can make some money. Not a lot, and based on my trading lately, I need all the help I can get. You're not going to earn a fortune unless you get hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but you get a little bit, I think. I don't know how much, but I don't think it's much. It's another tough day, isn't it? There's not a huge amount of setups, really, is there? I suppose if you think we're coming down, you possibly could take that. Although the trouble is, we touched here, so going short right into the bottoms adds an element of risk. Although we are doing that, so I don't know. Maybe that'll work 70% of the time. It's hard to say. There's nothing else I can see really that looks like something worth going for. It's just, although it doesn't look like you think, I think you're a bit of sideways, and we got a trend going up, then we got two pushes down, but there's just no setups. And if there is any type of setup, it's away from the EMA, so it's just hard to. This is where that patience comes into it. This is this new skill I've got to learn. Yeah, it's definitely going a little bit sideways on this yesterday's highs, and also we went sideways here a little bit in this range. It's sort of clipping the top of that a little bit, so I don't know, maybe it might go backwards and forwards between there, who knows. Valentine's Day offer. Yeah, I know, I had an email saying Valentine's Day 50% off, and I'm thinking, no, it's been 50% off for the last 6 months. I took a valuation a couple of days ago and paid 50% off, so I don't know why. $15 from hitting the drawdown for the apex. I've got 2 days left, and I'm above the target. Okay, I'm $15 from hitting the drawdown with apex. Got 2 days left, and I'm above the target. So how do you mean if you're above the target, you're $15 from hitting the drawdown? Reckon stop trading a day on micros will count as still a pass. Yeah, well, yeah. As soon as you get over your $3,000, get over, I'd say, by maybe $10 or $15. something like that. Get over by $10, $15, $20. I'm on, what am I on? I'm $120 up. You need to do one micro in a day, just one tick. One micro, one tick. You don't even have to pick it, just drop it in there. Just drop it in there anyway. Doesn't matter whether it wins or loses. I think even with fees, you lose about $3. So as long as you can stand $3 loss over the next day or two and you're still over your 3,000, yeah, don't worry about that. You can pass it in one day and take one tick micro a day for the remaining 6 days if you want. So yeah, if you're up, don't keep trading normally. Just drop it right down to a micro and just get you. Once you're over the finishing line, just trade a micro. I did that. There's my micro there. I'm 3,100. I'm $120 above. I just did a one tick. I think it was a one tick micro, and that loss with a fee. So it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Almost always be 50% off. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The trouble is, the people who don't know it, some of the new guys, and they think, 50% off. And it encourages them to go take an evaluation. But yeah, never pay more than, and you never pay more than 50% off. There's always something around for that. Yeah, just use someone's someone's code, mine, anyone's. There's always something on it. In fact, I'm pretty sure even if you type save 50 in it, it discounts it. So yeah, don't pay full price. Not that I don't think anyone will pay full price again. Definitely don't pay full price. No, if you want an evaluation, never pay more than 50% off. But if you can afford to wait, I'd wait for the 80% off. You never seem to wait a month without them doing another version of something. But if you do want one, then yeah, pay the 50% off. But if you can afford to wait, and I have got a code for that, or some of the other streamers have as well. So there's plenty of codes around. That's pushing up nicely again, isn't it? That. So. Let's see if we're coming up to these highs or mainly even further. See if there's any legs up. Come up there. Yeah, so there's a small one there and another small one there, and it looks like there's one there. Looks like two legs up. Okay. One push up, a little bit of sideways back to the EMA, another push up. Yeah, it looks like we're going to aim in towards the top of this, whether it'll get past this top line or not, but it's going to be somewhere around here, I think. Push up, a little bit of sideways. Trouble is, there's nothing there really, is there? There's no setups there. There's not a lot today, I gotta say. You may have took that one or that one, but I can't see a lot of anything else really. Certainly decent setups. We had this break new high, a couple of legs down. You might think we're going higher, but there's no setup there. You can't even get in above here. There's nothing here. Just two sideways and choppy here. I can't see nothing today really. I can't see Marco trading something like that personally, so I'll be hard pushed to see if he's got any trades in the bag so far. Toad, you're off, are you? Have a good weekend, Toad. Yeah, have a good one. Yeah, there is a lot of green, isn't there? Nice to see you back on the grind, Lance, mate. Thank you. Nikros. Sounds like a Greek name to me. Have we talked before? We might have. You really trust Marco? I've been watching him since day dot, and he's helped me a lot. And he's very robotic in his trading, and I like that. It's for me, sometimes in trading there's a lot of grey areas, but for him it's very black and white, and I like the way he does that. And he's one of the mentors on our site, on the group. So yeah, I trust him. Anybody that's more experienced than me, I think that a lot of my go-to people was him and Daniel when I started learning to trade, and they always give me some good advice and some supportive advice. So yeah, definitely him and Daniel. And what's it I like watching as well? I got to say that Penguin, guys, he's almost like in a league of his own. I don't know. I mean, there was a choppy day last week. I think, was it Marco or Mac only put about 3 or 4 trades. He took 6 trades and got 2 to 1 at some point. And I'm thinking, how is he doing it? I don't know how he's managing to get so much out of the market. Daniel hates your trades, does he? He gave me a fair old bit of stick, but it was friendly stick when I started. But he messaged me yesterday, actually. He sent me a Facebook messenger yesterday saying he watched me stream, and he went, what's going on? So I think that was, so I was more disappointed yesterday, because he's been sort of one of my mentors, really. I've had loads of private messages with him over the last year and a half, and he's always put me right, and he's always given me some good advice. So I felt like I'd let him down a bit, really. But I just had my head's been a bit mangled lately with what's going on at home, and obviously losing the count. But sometimes the best remedy is just to have some time off, or time on a demo. There's no pressure on a demo, so you can chat freely, can't you? And just find out what other people are doing, and there's no pressure. We got the weekend after today, so. Who's fake, do you think? Are you on about fake? You went on about, what's it, were you? The Penguins guy. Got to say, I don't know how he manages to find those trades and take such high proportions. I don't quite get it. Well, I don't like to sort of rubbish anyone or anything, but I got to say, it's always harder when you're trading. He's a nice chap anyway, so I've spoken to him a couple of times on YouTube. But I don't know how he manages to get so many trades. I mean, we had that really bad choppy day. Marco only put down 3 trades. He managed to find 6 trades and get sort of a minimum of 1 to 1, but on 2 or 3 of them, he got like 7 or 8 points. And these were fixed. He fixed them, and I'm thinking, how does he know how this market's going like this? So I often wondered whether sometimes it's easy to, whether that's what he actually trades, or does he go over the market at the end of the day and go, okay, I'll mark that because that's where I would, 2 legs down, I'd have gone, you know what I mean? It's a lot easier to mark the trade after the fact. So I don't know whether it's what he actually trades or I don't know, but I mean, if he does manage to trade like that, then the guy's worth a flipping fortune, in my opinion, but I don't know. See, you say he's better than those 2. He certainly seems to make more points, that's for certain, doesn't he? He does. The trouble is, until you see someone trading live, it's hard to tell, really, because you don't truly know how many trades they won, how many trades they lost. You know what I So yeah, I mean, the ultimate test is seeing someone trade live, and until you see him trade live, you just don't know, dude. Really. So it's hard to say. Yeah, he certainly seems to be able to read the charts well. I got to say, yeah, he's for me is more more of a technical chart reader, isn't he? He just seems to understand the markets very well. I got to say, and some people are very technical. Some people will sit there and just look for those little setups. He tends to be able to read the market well, but yeah, it'd be great to see him stream live, even if he doesn't have any chat or comment, just to stream live. I don't know why he doesn't, to be fair, because he could afford it. He could charge $50 a month, and if he's as good as he seems, people will pay, wouldn't they? Just to get inside his head when he's reading the markets. But sometimes from what people seem to, it's hard to, what people seem to do, but you don't know whether he goes over the charts and debates what the charts was at the end of the day. Obviously, like Mac puts all those marks, but he only takes a couple of trades a day. So it's easy for me to go over and say, okay, we got 2 pushes up here, 2 pushes back to the EMA. I'd take that one, blah, blah, blah. It's easy to do that after the fact. We can all do that. So when Mac puts sometimes 12 and 15 trades on there, some of them are obviously questionable, but he doesn't take them all. So if they're all high probability trades and there's 15 of them, why don't you trade them? See, so that's the difference between trading live. It is a different ball game. So there's that measured leg up to the nearest tick. So are we going up to the tops here, or are we going to? Hard to say. Absolutely. Yeah, everyone's got their own different way of doing them, but there isn't. I'm surprised how little people there are that stream live. Bart. Watched him before. What's his name? Bart somebody? Bart. Don't say Simpson. Bart Fly, is it, or something? Somebody's name? I can't remember. Super aggressive. Yeah. Well, I've got to say, Wilson used to be really aggressive when he used to, on a demo, trade 20 to 30 contracts. He was really aggressive, but it worked for him. And I'm just wondering whether, because now he's gone careful, he tends to lose more trade. I don't know. Perhaps aggressive works for some people. Perhaps their aggressive is different from our aggressive. So, it's hard to say, but Chin is the GOAT. I love the Chin. Yeah, the trouble is, it's very easy to. I mean, he could show all his trades, it's all trades, and then he could just say, okay, I'll leave the 3 losers, and I'll just pick the winners. So you just don't know really. I got to say, when I used to photograph my chart and put it on the Facebook group, I always used to show my winners and losers, and I got to say, very few people do that. A lot of people just show winners. 3 or 4 winners, and I'm thinking you're doing 3 or 4 winners every single day and never losing. I'm thinking, man, I used to think, man, there's some way better traders here than me. But yeah, not a lot of people like putting the losers. I don't know why. Because the way I thought, my thoughts behind it is, if I put a loser, someone might comment on it and tell me why it lost. So I always used to put, all comments welcome, and that's how I learned. Bart's your favourite. It's just because his name's Bart, isn't it, Jacko? Is that why it is? Are you a Simpsons fan, are you? Bart Fly, yeah, that's it. Okay, the legend. Yeah, what happened to Chin? Tell you what, how many views did he have? You think he'd make a fortune off? I think, did he have 800,000 views on one of his videos? What's going on? I get about 600 or 800. And you can see me have meltdowns live on stream. You think he'd be making a fortune from YouTube, wouldn't he, if he was getting 8 views like that? But yeah, I know Riley Coleman started making the odd video, isn't he? He trades quite different now, but I don't know what issues. I know there was some stuff going around with him and Mac. I don't know whether Mac had issued him with some sort of a, cease and assist thing, was it? I don't know. I had rumours, but I don't know exactly what happened. But the thing is, I think Mac had, started is from what he'd learned from Al Brooks. So everybody learns something. Anybody who teaches now has learnt it from someone, haven't they? So I don't know. I never saw his course, so I don't know how closely it looked or was linked to Mac's. Chin is a cheater. In fact, I got to thank him for getting me into this business, although he's just caused me nearly 2 years of misery. so I don't know whether I want to shake his hand or wring his neck, but yeah, I was about to pay the $350 for Michael Chin's course, but I just happened to review it. I clicked on Google and just reviewed his course, and then I found out he'd learnt his from Mac, and then when I found Mac's site and realised he was only charging $120 for the year, it was happy days. Oh, gonna be rich. Trading is the best get rich slow scheme. Yeah, it is. I think we're all going to get rich. It might just take us 20 years to get there, doesn't it? I think we're going to be old and wrinkled by the time we earn the money. But he's pushing 5 contracts now, making a lot of money. Yeah, if you're trading 5 contracts and you're surviving okay, you're making a few quid, aren't you? I think. I'd sort of watch a bit of everything as well. I kind of like watching Thomas Wade. I think he explains the markets quite well. I do like watching Penguins guy as well. He's very technical. Now, maybe he doesn't make as, maybe he puts a lot more trades on his chart than he actually took. But he sounds good, put it that way, doesn't he? He sounds like some people just sound like they know what they're talking about, don't they? And he's one of them, I think. So, yeah, the Penguins guy, perhaps he doesn't make that many trades, but he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. So, yeah. I just wish Mac had, I wish we could get into Mac's head a bit more. I wish he'd open up a little bit more. I'd definitely love to know what trades he took in the day, how many of them, and just which one. I can't see why there's an issue why I wouldn't say, if he took that, then I wish he'd tell us or whatever. You're done, plus $1,700, happy days. I've taken high-risk trades, better stop before. Yeah, sometimes quit while you're ahead. If you've had a bit of luck, yeah, because sometimes when you get those lucky days, you keep pushing it, don't they? And then sooner or later it runs out. See you next week, bud. Have a good weekend, yeah? You watch the gorilla guy. Trades are all animals. Panda guy. Do you know what it is with that panda guy? It's not him that gets on my nerves, it's the panda. Let me have a look what it is. If you look at his headphones on that panda, there's a bit of pink on it, and it drives me around the flipping twist. Don't ask me why. Let's see if I can find it. Where are you, lad? Bye-bye money. Yeah, he should have called himself Bye-bye Money, I've got to say. Some reason, see that little bit of purple on there? I don't know what it is. It just bugs me. That just little bit of rim of purple there on the headphones, it just annoys me. I got no idea why. He is a star, isn't he? He is a star. I think he's turned more YouTuber now, really, isn't he? Someone else mentioned that. He's got 11,000 subscribers, so I bet he's making a few quid from it. Not a fortune, but yeah, that panda drives around the twist. I think he does something to with computers or programming, doesn't he? I think that guy. I don't think I've come across the gorilla guy. Yeah, Douglas, I'll agree with that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean about Mac. When I say Mac doesn't always explain things very well, yeah, sometimes I don't feel like I get a lot of benefits from it. Sometimes if I've taken a trade and something's not right, then I'll watch him to find out what went wrong. But yeah, he puts about 12 to 15 trades on most days, and a lot of them don't follow the rules, and a lot of them I think are slightly higher risk. But if he's going to do that, I think he needs to say, after all, I took this one, and this one. I think he just needs to do that. I did message him. Someone else messaged him and just put, not going down the webcam. No, you don't want my face, mate. No. You have a pretty face like mine. You might you might feel underwhelmed. I'm going to say, no, I don't know. Because, mate, you can hear in my voice when I'm nervous. The last thing I want you to do is to watch me dribbling all over me keyboard. No, I don't want my pretty face making you all feel bad about yourselves. No. I don't want you seeing me drooling as well as hearing my voice. I notice when I've had those really bad days, I'm these little nervous coughs, so I don't know. I doubt it. What else we got? Did you receive your request payment? Oh, for your past an email, have you? Mac never shows losses. That really bugs me. Yeah, I think he needs to be more open with his trades. Someone else messaged him. I messaged him a few days ago and I said, I've been having a bit of a chat on the Facebook group, and I seem to get the impression that it'd be useful for people if we knew over all the trades that you'd marked, which ones you actually took. I can't see why it would be an issue or a secret. What's the problem in? He doesn't even need to show his losses. Although it'd be nice. I don't see a problem with someone's losses because losses are part of it, and Mac goes on about that. And if losses is an important part of it, then I don't think you should have an issue with showing it. I think it sort of shows the more human side of you, really. But I'd certainly like to know which trades he took. And if he's honest about which trades he took, we'll know which ones he's lost anyway, won't we? We'll be able to work that out. But the thing is, Max still only scalps a point, doesn't he? So I'd say even his bad trades probably make a point. Yeah, I had a payment from Apex. They paid me, they'll pay anybody. Any good Forex brokers in the UK? Crikey. I wouldn't worry about the UK. I used to use there's plenty of good ones out there. I used to use IC Markets. They're really good as long as they've got this. As long as they adhere to the something of conduct, something or other, something. Yeah, IC Markets is a good one. I think IC Markets are based in. Where are they? IC Markets. I think they're based in Australia. I don't know, but plenty of good ones around. Just Google it and just put top Forex brokers. But yeah, I used to use IC Markets, and I downloaded. If you trade in on the Forex markets, I downloaded MT4. Yeah, MT4 from them and use that. So if you are interested in that, it doesn't cost you anything like Apex. You can have the full package. You can pay per trade as long as you like. There's no issues. You don't have to have any money in the account. Well, there's not really many setups, is there, today? Yeah, it would help people because when I learned to trade some currency, I followed a guy called Andrew Lockwood, and you could see him trade. He would trade. He would have videos on him for a couple of hours, and you would be able to see him trade about 3 times a week. So you would see which trades he took and which trades he was currently in. And I think it's important to show people because it helps them understand, it helps them get into the head of a trader. And this guy, Mac, is taught us all, isn't he, or most of us. And I think it's important to see, does he follow his own rules, or does he sort of jump out the box? In which case, that might be why. But I think it'd be way beneficial to. Well, I've messaged him. If a few more of you message him, then he might. Perhaps he might listen. I don't know, but I think if a few people message him, just drop a message and say, any chance you could, let us know which trade you took at the end. It's not any more work, is it, really? If you took 2 trades, you go, I took that one and I took that one. So I definitely think it'd be useful. Yeah, it's a slow old day today, isn't it? I think I'm going to knock it on the head, guys, I think. So I'll be trading again Monday. I'm just going to do Monday, Tuesday on a demo again, and that will get me over the door from my PA account, and then I'm going to move down to 1 contract just for the time being, just to get me over that initial bit. I think once I can get out of that initial drawdown and start drawing away from that and building that buffer, probably around about the $5,000 again. But I'm just going to have to sit today now. Obviously, I shouldn't have took that one, I could clearly see. So I'm just going to have to get back to that frame of mind, and I'm just sitting and waiting for those obvious ones. But there hasn't been many today at all. Maybe a couple, I don't know, but some may have took that. It's not necessarily in a range. It's only pushed up to the top, come down the bottom a bit, isn't it? So, well, it's held a little bit on there, but it does seem to be. So you may have took that one. You may have took that one. It's hard to say, but that one I think is a no-no because it's slightly risky. Didn't work anyway. But apart from that, I can't see a lot of trades. So it'd be interesting to see what Mac doesn't do it anymore on Fridays, does he? So Marco does. So it'd be interesting to see whether Marco has picked anything else up. So look, have a great weekend, guys. I appreciate you hooking up and having a chat today, and we're all sort of learning together, aren't we? We're all facing our demons and trying to make better lives for ourselves and our families. So we are going to have good days and we're going to have bad days, and it's trying to limit the bad days so they don't do any damage. And that's where I initially went wrong with that big loss I had. If I'd have kept it down to 2, even if I if I lose 2 trades, then go on to a demo or something just to keep myself focusing. But I need to stick to that limit, and if I'd have stick to that limit, I think I'd have still had my PA account now. But it's a lesson. I try and take as many lessons as I can from this business in whatever form they come around. So look, have a great weekend. If you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate you if you subscribe, and then you'll get a notification there when I'm live streaming, or I set up a live stream, schedule a live stream, sorry. And if you do need an evaluation, I've got a discount code 50% here, but that you won't pay any more than that anyway. But if you need one, then I'd appreciate it. But if you don't and you can wait, I'd hold on, because we're likely to get another 80% off soon, I'd say. So have a great weekend. If you're carrying on trading, good luck. It is a funny old day today. It's been a lot like this lately, a lot of this choppy stuff with not a lot of setup. So have a great weekend all. And I will catch up with you all just before the market opens on Monday. So have a great weekend, stay safe, and I will catch you all